Hello everyone, welcome back to the new video, and in this video we are going to deal with 20 tough questions that are related to genetics. So these questions are often asked in science entrance examination. So let's start the video. So the first question is, in a dihybrid cross there is a phenotypic ratio that is 9:7. So we have to tell which type of gene interaction this ratio is showing. So the options are A, complementary gene, B, epistasis, C, codominance, and the D is incomplete dominance. So the correct answer is option E, that is the complementary gene. And why so? Because the complementary gene, student, it will require both the dominant allele from two different loci to express a trait. If either is absent, the phenotype is not produced. Now this will modify the classical 9:3:3:1 ratio to 9:7, where 9 will show the trait and 7 will lack it due to the incomplete gene interaction. So the first question, the correct option is the A, that is the complementary gene interaction. So now let's move on to the second question. Let's see what's the second question. The second question is, student, that there is a cross, you can see, between the two species. So that cross will yield a 9:3:3:1 ratio. So we have to tell what does this imply. So the options are A, independent assortment, B, linkage, C, epistasis, and the D, codominance. So the correct answer for this question is option A, independent assortment. And why? Because this 9:3:3:1 ratio is a hallmark of Mendel's law of independent assortment. So it will occur when two genes that are located on different chromosomes, they will segregate independently during the process of gamete formation. So this will produce the four distinct phenotype, that is in a ratio 9:3:3:1. So the correct option is A, that is independent assortment. Now let's move on to the third question. So the third question is, which of the following is true about the codominance? So the four options will be displayed to you, and we have to find out that which statement is true about the phenomenon codominance. So now let's see what are the options for this. There are four options. A is one allele mask the another, B, both allele express equally, C, intermediate phenotype is formed, and the D, only recessive allele expresses. So the correct answer, student, for this question is option B, that is both the allele, they will express equally. So this is true about the codominance. And why so the B option is correct? Can you think of it? The reason behind is that in codominance, student, both allele in a heterozygote, they are fully expressed, without blending. So you can understand this by taking AB blood group, where both the A and B antigen, they are present on RBC cell. So let's move. Now the fourth question is, which condition will show deviation from Mendelian ratio due to the presence of lethal alleles? So the four options will be displayed, and we have to find out that the observed Mendelian ratio is due to the which lethal allele. So let's see the four options. The options are as following. The option A is the ratio 3:1, the ratio B 2:1, C is 1:2:1, and D is 9:3:3:1. So the correct answer is B, that is 2:1. And why? Because the lethal gene, student, lethal allele, it will cause death in homozygous dominant individual. So due to this, it will alter the expected 3:1 ratio to 2:1. So you can understand this by example, that in mice, the yellow coat color gene is lethal in homozygous condition. So only the heterozygous and the recessive offspring will survive. Now let's see the fifth question. So the fifth question is, which of the following among the four options that will be given to you is not a feature of polygenic inheritance? So you understand, we have to find out amongst the option which is not the feature of polygenic inheritance. So let's see the option. The options are A, continuous variation, B, multiple gene involved, C, discrete categories, and D, additive effect. So the correct answer, student, for this question is the option. Can you guess the correct option? The correct option is C, that is the discrete categories. And why? Because the polygenic trait, like height or the skin color, it will show continuous variation due to the additive effect of multiple genes. So unlike the Mendelian trait, they do not fall in distinct categories, but it will form a spectrum of phenotype. So the option C is the correct answer for this question. Now let's see the sixth question. So the sixth question is, which of the following, okay, 4 options will be displayed, okay, among them which is true for the sex-linked recessive traits. Okay, so we have to find out that which statement or which option is correct for sex-linked recessive traits. So the options are: A, expressed in heterozygous female; B, never passed from mother to son; C, more common in males; and D, always lethal. So what do you think? What's the correct option for this question? Students, the correct answer for this question is option C, that is, it is more common in males. Okay, and why? The explanation is that the male will have only one X chromosome, so a single recessive allele on it will express the trait. Okay, now female require 2 copies, hence the disorder like hemophilia and color blindness, they are more frequent in male due to the presence of only one X chromosome. Okay, so the option C is correct answer. Now let's see the 7th question. So 7th question is, which of the following, okay, so the 4 option will be displayed to you and we have to find out that among the 4 option which is the example of pleiotrophy. So let's see the options. The options are A, ABO cell group; B, sickle cell anemia; C, color blindness; and the D, hemophilia. So student, what do you think is the correct answer for this question? Think of it. The correct answer for this question, student, is the option B, that is the sickle cell anemia. Okay, and why so? Because the pleiotropy occur when one gene will affect the multiple trait. Okay, so the single cell gene, it will alter the RBC shapes, causes anemia also, and provide resistance to malaria, demonstrating the multiple phenotype effect from a single gene mutation. Okay, so the option B will represent the example of the pleiotrophy. Okay, now let's see what's the 8th question. So the 8th question is, which of the following is not involved in linkage mapping? Okay, so the 4 option will be displayed to us and we have to find out that among which among the 4 which is not involved in the linkage mapping. So let's see the 4 option. The options are A, recombination frequency; B, crossing over; C, independent assortment; and the D, test cross. So student, can you think of the correct option for this question? The correct answer, student, for this question is option A, that is the, option C is the independent assortment. And the reason why, because the linkage mapping, it will rely on recombination frequencies between genes on the same chromosome. Now, the independent assortment, it applies to gene on different chromosome and it does not help in mapping linked genes. Okay, so the option C, independent assortment, is not involved in linkage mapping. Okay, now let's see the 9th question. So the 9th question is that which of the following is true about the crossing over. So now we are going to talk about the crossing over. So 4 options will be displayed to us and we have to find that which is among them is true about the crossing over. So the 4 options are: A, it occurs during the mitosis; B, it occurs between the sister chromatids; C, it increases the genetic variation; and the D, it prevents the recombination. So what do you think is the correct option? The correct option is, students, C, that is, it increases the genetic variation. So the reason behind is that the crossing over, student, it will occur during prophase 1, okay, of meiosis, and it will happen between non-sister chromatid of homologous chromosome. So it will create a new allele combination, so that will enhance the genetic diversity in gametes. Okay, so option C is the correct answer, okay, about the crossing over. Now let's see what's the question 10. So the question 10 is that which of the following is not a Mendelian disorder? So student, the 4 options will be displayed and we have to find that which is not a Mendelian disorder. So now let's see the options. The options: A is thalassemia, B is hemophilia, the option C is Down syndrome, and the option D is the sickle cell anemia. So what do you think is the correct answer, student? The correct answer for this question is the option, think of it. The correct answer is, student, the option C, that is the Down syndrome. And why? Because the Mendelian disorders, okay, they are caused by the mutation in single genes. Okay, so now Down syndrome is a chromosomal disorder due to the trisomy 21, not a gene mutation. Okay, So it does not follow the Mendelian inheritance. Now let's see the question 11. So the question 11 is, which of the following is true about the gene mapping unit? Okay. So again the 4 option will be displayed to us and we have to find out that among the 4 which is true about the gene mapping units. Okay. So the first option is A, 1 centimeter is 1 centimorgan. Okay, is equal to 1% recombination. The B is 10% recombination, C is 100 base pairs and D is 1 mutation. So the correct answer is option A, 1 centimorgan is equal to 1% recombination, and reason behind is that a centimorgan is a unit of genetic distance, okay, that will represent a 1% chance of recombination between 2 genes during the process of meiosis. Now it is used in linkage mapping to estimate how close genes are on a chromosome, okay. So you understand, the smaller the centimorgan value is, the closer the genes are. So the option A is the correct answer. Now let's see the 12th question. The 12th question is, which of the following is not a feature of autosomal dominant inheritance? Okay. So among the 4 options, we have to find out that which is not a feature of autosomal dominant inheritance. The options are A, skip generations. Option B, it affects both the sexes equally. Option C, appears in every generation. Okay. And the option D is 1 mutant allele is sufficient. So what do you think? The option A, student, is the correct answer, that it skips the generation. And the reason behind is that the autosomal dominant traits, student, it will typically appear in every generation because only 1 copy of the mutant allele is needed for expression. Now, if a trait skips generation, it is more likely to be recessive. Okay. So option A is the correct feature. Okay. It's not a feature of autosomal dominant inheritance. Now let's see the 13th question. Now, which of the following, okay, 4 options will be displayed to us and we have to find out that which among the 4 is a chromosomal aberration. So now let's find out what are the options. The option A is point mutation, option B is frame shift, option C is translocation, and option D is silent mutation. So what do you think is the correct answer, student? Among the 4, the correct option is option C, that is the translocation. So student, why? Because translocation is a structural change in chromosome where a segment from one chromosome is transferred to another. Okay, so it's a chromosomal aberration, unlike point or a frame shift mutation which will affect the individual genes. So option C, that is a translocation, is a chromosomal aberration. It's the correct answer. Now let's see the question number 14. So the question number 14 is, which of the following is true about the mitochondrial inheritance? So again the 4 options will be displayed to us and we have to find out that among the options which one is following or is true about the mitochondrial inheritance. So let's see the options. The A option is paternal transmission. Option B is it follows the Mendelian ratios. Option C is maternal transmission only, and option D is affect only males. So the correct answer for this question is, student, the option, think of it before I tell you. So the correct answer for this question is option C, that is the maternal transmission only. And why so, student? Because the mitochondria, they are inherited exclusively from the mothers. Okay, because the egg will contribute to the cytoplasm of the zygote. Okay, so the mitochondrial disorder, it will affect both sexes. Now, question 15 is, which of the following disorder is caused by a single gene mutation? So 4 options will be displayed to us and we have to find out that which disorder is due to the single gene mutation. So let's see the options. A option is Turner syndrome, B is Klinefelter syndrome, C is Huntington's disease, and D is Down syndrome. So student, what do you think is the correct answer for this question? Think of it. The correct answer for this question is, student, the option C, that is the Huntington's disease. And why so? Because this disease is caused by the mutation in the HTT genes on chromosome 4. Now, it's a Mendelian disorder with autosomal dominant inheritance. The other options are chromosomal disorder, okay, that are involving the aneuploidy. So, the correct option for question number 15 is C, Huntington's disease. Now the 16th question is, which of the following is not a consequence of non-disjunction? Okay, so among the 4 options that will be displayed to us, we have to find out that which is not a consequence of non-disjunction. So let's see the option. The option A is trisomy, B monosomy, C polyploidy, and the option D is normal karyotype. So what do you think is the correct answer for this question? The correct answer for this question is, student, the option D, that is the normal karyotype. And why so? Because the non-disjunction is the failure of chromosome to separate properly during the process of meiosis. Okay, so this will lead to the abnormal chromosome number, okay, trisomy, monosomy, or the polyploidy. A normal karyotype is not a result of non-disjunction. Okay, so option D is the correct answer for this question. Now let's see what's the question number 17. So the question number 17 is, which of the following is true about the test cross? Okay, so the 4 options, student, will be displayed to us, and we have to find out that which is true about the test cross. So the option A is always involve the homozygous dominant. B is determines the genotype of unknown. Option C is it produces a 3:1 ratio. And option D is it is used in dihybrid crosses only. So the correct answer for this question is option B, that is it determines the genotype of unknown, and the explanation behind is that a test cross, student, it will involve the crossing an individual with unknown genotype with a homozygous recessive individual. Okay, so the offspring's phenotype reveal whether the unknown is homozygous or the heterozygous. Okay, so the option B, that is it determines the genotype of unknown, is true about the test cross. Now let's see the question number 18. So here it is. The question number 18 is that which of the following is not a feature of incomplete dominance? Okay, so among the 4 options that will be displayed, we have to find out which of the following is not a feature of incomplete dominance. So the options are A, blending of traits, B, intermediate phenotypes, C, both the allele expressed fully, and the D, 1:2:1 phenotypic ratio. So what do you think is the correct answer for this question? The correct answer for this question is option C, that is both the allele will express fully. Okay, so student, in complete dominance, neither allele is completely dominant. The heterozygous, it will show a blend, okay, and the full expression of both allele is codominance, not the incomplete dominance. Okay, so for this question, option C, that is both the allele expressed fully, is the correct answer, and it's not a feature of incomplete dominance. Now let's see the second last question. The second last question is, which of the following is true about the epistasis? Okay, so among the 4 options that will be displayed to us, we have to find out that which is true about the epistasis. The option A includes one gene mask another. The option B is both genes express equally. The option C is genes sort independently, and the option D is only dominant allele will express. So the correct answer for this question is, student, the option A, that is one gene will mask another. And why so? Because the epistasis, it occurs when one gene will interfere with or suppresses the expression of another gene. For example, in a Labrador coat color, one gene determines the pigment and another will control the deposition. Okay, so this will lead to the modified phenotypic ratio. So the option A, that is one gene mask another, is the true about the epistasis. Now the last question, which of the following is not a polygenic trait, student? So we have to see the 4 options and we have to tell that which among them is not a polygenic trait. So now let's see what are the options. So the options are A, skin color, B, height, C, eye color, and the option D is blood group. So student, what's the correct option for this question? The correct answer is option D, that is the blood group. And why so? Because the blood group is determined by a single gene with multiple alleles. Okay, so the polygenic trait, it involves multiple genes that contributes to a continuous range of phenotype such as skin color or the height. Okay, so for this question, the option D, blood group, okay, is not a polygenic trait. Okay, so this is all the 20 questions, student. So if you like this pattern, okay, of question MCQs with the explanation, you can just like, comment and subscribe my channel for more updates. Thank you.